This meeting to order at 6:43. Welcome everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Just want to thank everyone for being here, whether you're online or in person. If you're in person, we have food in the back. Feel free to help yourselves. My name is Marco Cuevas. I am the chair of the Westside Community Council, and I have a wonderful board here. We're going to get great things done in 2025. So I'm just going to quickly go over who they are. We have Eric Werbolowski as our vice president. Pete Freeman over here is our secretary. Kay Zerbies over there is our treasurer. Our communications chair in the back, Helen Aloyan. Orlando in the back, and Ron Whitehurst is our Revite chair. So smaller group than last year, but still mighty, and we got a lot of things that we want to get done, whether you're on the board or whether you want to serve in a committee. I'm going to let Eric kind of go over that in a second, a little bit more in detail on how we're building the organization, organizing and stuff like that. That's a big key, laying the foundation. Unfortunately, we don't have interpretation tonight. A couple of our interpreters are out sick, so I do apologize for that. It doesn't look like anyone here needs interpretation, I don't think. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and invite our vice chair, Eric, to speak. Invite the people to membership.
Everybody, like Marco said, we're doing some organizational development with the West Side, and West Side strength is being a connective tissue in the community. Even if we're not the lead on an issue, we're going to bring in other experts and community interests and give them a forum. And part of our job as West Side organizers are to let people know in our neighborhoods about this resource, and to say, like I said to, what's your name again? Marilyn is sitting there, and I hadn't met her before. Hey, Marilyn, what are you interested in? What do you want to do with our community organization? And that's what the power of this organization is. It's a rare animal in terms of nonprofit organizations. There's no hierarchy, even though Marco thinks there is. We're all the same in this group, and our job is to engage the community on issues that matter. And in the coming year, we're developing some issues about good, clean, affordable food that we can develop as a food hub and grow ourselves. Ron and I have been active in Ventura Growing Circles, a subcommittee that does projects like putting gardens in people's yards and planting trees and doing presentations at the county fair. And there's other subcommittees and working groups around the West Side that we want to engage and invite them to come on in and make presentations and let folks know, because we're as big as the net and the network we cast. And it's up to this little group right here to spread the word. And we're going to have some more, food, more interesting presentations, some vital discussions, that it's not going to just be listening to a dog and pony show of city projects and whatnot and developers. That's part of it. But there's going to be a lot more back and forth and discussion and sharing what's on people's minds, what they're concerned about, and how organizations can be more responsive to that. So any thoughts, comments, questions on that? Applause sign now? Applause? Shh, shh, shh. Thank you. Yeah, no, stay seated, please. Thank you. Marco.
That's the type of energy that we need. And, you said I believe in hierarchies. I mean, to be honest, I've said it before in other organizations that it's just titles that we all have here as a board. Yes, we're elected as board members to help guide and lead the organization, but we constantly seek feedback from our members. Our direction comes from you. And so while the main topic tonight is community visioning and sharing ideas, that really happens always. Every meeting, we're going to have the opportunity to get together and socialize and just pass along ideas. So it doesn't stop tonight, especially as we gather and try to build this organization with more members. So before we get to that, we have a few standing reports. I'm going to invite Commander Hurd for a patrol watch report.
I just want to let you know you're in good hands. I see Marco at the city council meetings, so he's staying up to speed with what's going on in the city, and I'm sure some of the others do sometimes too, but he's who I've seen the last couple of times. So thanks for being here. I have two maps that are going to be put up on the screen for you. The first one that you're looking at is the narcotics and overdose calls for service. This map was created to answer the question, when you call us about, hey, there's somebody over here doing drugs or dealing drugs or something like that, or I found drug paraphernalia, what are the police doing about that? What are you doing? Because we're not seeing the results of that, right? So that's to answer those questions. So these are calls where people called in a narcotics or an overdose call, and we went to 18 of those calls and 2 overdoses. And just to let you know on those, I kind of ran the numbers and looked up each of those calls and found that 10 of those calls we got there and the people were either gone or we were unable to locate them. Sometimes the caller actually called back and said, hey, they left, never mind. 8 times we actually contacted someone and found that there was nothing enforceable for us to do. Like, for instance, one time person said they were smoking something in the car. It turned out to be cigarettes. So, of course, can't do anything about that. And then 2 times were just property recovery. People found either drugs or paraphernalia, and we went and collected it for destruction. So those are those calls. The overdoses, actually, good news on both cases of those overdoses. One of them turned out not to be an overdose, and the other one was a suspected overdose, but the person was around and walking and was totally uncooperative with the fire department. So we don't really know exactly what happened there, but they're okay. So that's good news. That's it for that map. Any questions on that map or information? No. The second map you're looking at is the crime map for the month of January. If you've seen this map before, I like this month's map much better than some previous ones in that you'll see the assault offenses are much lower than previous months, so I like seeing that. And then the narcotic offenses being so high is actually a good thing in a certain way because every single one of these is actually a drug arrest. So that means our officers contacted someone. A lot of these are us actually proactive arrests where they went out and contacted someone. It might have been for a totally unrelated reason, but they were eventually arrested for a drug offense. So 26 times people were arrested for drug offenses on this particular map. The fraud cases range from everything from somebody identity theft with their credit card to somebody wired someone money for a rental property and it was a fraudulent posted ad, things like that. So that's what the types of frauds we were looking at. I will say, just in general, not related to this map in particular, there has been an uptick in gang activity on the west side as of late. You'll see there was a couple of vandalism calls there. 3 of those vandalism calls were tagging from the Ventura Avenue gang, so that they've kind of spiked their activity lately. You guys are our eyes and ears on the street. If you see something suspicious or, some people who look like they might be up to no good, do call us. Our officers, if they are available, will come by. We actually had a call during this month where one of the weapons offenses was a vigilant neighbor on the west side called a group of juveniles who were acting suspiciously. She thought one of them might have a gun. We went out and contacted him. Sure enough, 15-year-old boy with a gun shoved down his pants. So, and we arrested him and thankfully got that gun off the street. But we wouldn't have known that had the person not called us. So I would say, please do call us if you see something suspicious. We're happy to come out and do what we can. And maybe it's nothing, but if you see something, say something, right? So we appreciate that particular resident for calling that in. So be aware of that. Lastly, well, actually 2 more things. I met with Jackie Pierce. I don't know if you know her. She's involved in the West Side a lot with a lot of things. I met with her today. She and some of the people over that have businesses and churches and things over by the Vaughn Shopping Center were expressing concern about that particular area. It's been a problem spot pretty much, off and on for years and years. So we're putting some more directed enforcement there just because it's kind of seen an uptick in people being aggressive toward their particular church had set up an office down the one side of the alleyway, and then the church is on the avenue. So they're using the alleyway behind the Vaughns as kind of a walkway, and there's some, concerning activity over there. We're aware of it. And we do have kind of a beat coordinator coordinating with both the property manager of the Vons, including the security company. And then we've been talking to the residents of the cannery, talking about maybe putting up some video surveillance and things over there. So we're working on that. It's an ongoing project. It'll be kind of a work in progress. But if you have problem areas, always let me know and we can try and direct enforcement there as well. And now lastly, if since you didn't have a meeting last month, and I don't think December either, you had your potluck, right? Some of you may or may not know that our chief retired in December. So Darren Schindler retired, and we now have an interim chief. His name is Tony Lee, who's filling the gap until a permanent chief is hired. And then I got a question earlier, why do we have an interim that's from outside? Because he's not from the Ventura Police Department. He's somebody who's recently retired from another agency, and he's filling the gap. And the main reason for that is that both of our assistant chiefs are applying for the actual chief job. So I think that the idea is it'd be a little unfair to give one of them the opportunity to be the interim. It might give them a little leg up. So no indication that that means we'll go outside. We may get one of our internal chiefs, but they did open it nationwide search, and they're still in the process of interviewing and doing all the steps to hire the permanent chief. So we expect that to come in the next couple of months. And until then, Chief Lee is keeping the ship afloat, and we're business as usual, doing all of our services and no major changes. He'll just kind of keep us moving forward and handling things. Any questions about that? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Commander Hurd. I know it's been a couple months, so appreciate seeing some things are down, a couple other things are up, but always appreciate your updates and actually seeing you at City Council. I know Pete and I have always been waving and stuff like that, so thank you. Next up, we have our City of Ventura updates. Councilmember Campos, I guess, doesn't look like she's able to make it, but we do have our communication specialist to go ahead and go over some slides from the city.
Hi, everybody. I know most of you, but for those that don't know me, my name's Alejandra, and I'm the communications specialist for the city. I'm also a West Side resident, and I am here to let you know about a couple of projects that are going on the West Side and a couple of programs for the West Side community. So first we have our junk drop-off. It's coming up on February 8th. So if you have any unwanted items in your home, you can go and drop them off. This is a clean way to drop off any big items, and you can have them recycled over there. You just need to register, and I hyperlinked everything here as well. It's actually on the link, and I totally messed that up, and I didn't have that. It's gonna be on Sanhone Road, so 336 Sanhone Road, from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Yeah, and then you just choose whatever time slot works for you, and just bring your proof of residency in Ventura, and then you can drop everything off. This is super exciting. We have our new West Park Youth Soccer League, and we extended the registration until February 8th. You can register on there. It's a really fun co-ed soccer league, and it focuses on skill development, sportsmanship, and it's $65 per child, and they'll get to do a bunch of games. So yeah, highly recommend signing up February 8th. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just sign up. You can sign up for a time slot, and they'll take these items. Exactly. Just roll over. Okay, so for the registration, just to finish that thought, we have games. All the games will take place from March to April for folks that are interested in signing up. And then for Surfers Point, we have this project is well underway, and it's in line to be finished by summer 2025. That's super exciting to me, and it's been an incredible project to see come alive. And then West Park Skate Park. The park is also making construction strides, as we are happy to say that the project is projected to be done by summer 2025 as well. And then our last event here, community event, is hazardous waste drop off. This event is held on the third Saturday of each month. The next one is February 15th, and City of Ventura residents and small businesses are invited to register for an appointment time, and all the information of where the drop off locations are also hyperlinked here. That's it for me. I'm happy to answer any questions, anything you guys need. As always, any feedback, anything that you'd like me to bring information about, we're happy to help. And hazard waste will also be in San Home, I believe. Yes. City Yard. And we have that all hyperlinked here on the slides. Yes, correct. And yeah, and on our website, you can also see the materials that we will be able to receive. Correct. You sign up. And if you scroll down, you can see the items that we are able to take. Thank you. Yeah, sign up for the newsletter. You get all those hyperlinks too.
So yeah, we'll forward all this in an email. The e-waste part, I guess, especially in particular. I know we're having another junk drop off like we do every few months. WCDC does it. The next one, I believe, is March 15th, that whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah, Saturday, March 15th, 9 a.m. to noon. And it's on off of Bell Way, that empty lot. We will fill the dumpsters until it has no more room. You can bring the tires that time. No has waste. We also will put out a phone number that folks can text, because we've been doing pickups, like at home pickups for large items. So we can share that with you as well. I also want to say there is at the Idea Center a 6-week program for teens, and it's at the Makerspace program. So there's a parent orientation Tuesday. Oh, I guess that was yesterday. But we can get you guys some more information if you have any students who are interested in participating in the Idea Center.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, that the trash that we have over, or the trash pickup that we have on Bell happens like 3 times a year, I believe. And it's yeah, it's just we get like 7 of those big Harrison dumpsters and pretty much fill them all up. So definitely a good opportunity to take advantage of that. And some of the other updates that I was honing in on, like the construction and stuff like that. I was riding my bike down the bike path. You can see construction well underway for West Park Skate Park. A little detour over at the promenade as you're approaching, because they're redoing all that with the, what do you call it, managed retreat and stuff like that. So looking forward to seeing all that get finished hopefully this year and stuff like that. So our last standing report is our treasurer's report. I'm going to go ahead and invite it our treasurer, Kay. Show us the treasury. Tell the people what we got. Oh no, she looks sad. I don't like this update.
Because right now, all we have is, okay, where did you go? $204.79 in our bank account. That's all we have. But that doesn't mean that you can't, if you feel like donating a little bit, that would be fine. We have a place where you can donate it online as well. So feel free to do so if you inclined to do so. But good to see anyway that you guys are all here. I see smiling faces. Okay, most of you are smiling. Okay, that got you all. That was, he bought it. Well, sorry about that. It's too late because it's really good. Thank you. He supplied it. And so he'll probably end up taking what's left home. But God bless you guys for coming out, even though it's raining and it's cold. But it'll warm up. God bless y'all.
Thank you, Kay. Yes, I know brighter days are ahead. Yeah, that keeps me up at night sometimes, but we're working on it. The other thing I wanted to mention, or Pete wanted me to mention, slipped my mind, is that we have Ventura Connects, which is the new like reporting for say like potholes and graffiti. We used to have like a list of numbers, which we still have on our website if any of you want to use that for city service request information, like streetlight outages. But a lot of this stuff happens on like apps. So for example, a streetlight outage, you got the SCE app. You can go ahead and report it on there. Ventura Connects, they wanted to make it seamless. So if you see something like graffiti and you want to report it, you can go on that app, that website, and just go ahead and report it there. We'll go ahead and send this out in an email or show you after the meeting what that looks like. Oh, there we go.
I'm breaking my own rule of not using a microphone. I apologize to the Zoom people. So this graphic that my cursor is surrounding, it says Ventura Connects, easy to use, real-time, better service. That's clickable in all of our emails that we've been sending. So if you ever need to just access it quickly and have our agenda handy, you can go ahead and hit that and that'll take you to the city website unless they broke the link. But I see that it's the most clicked item on our emails. So just want to let anyone know if they haven't tried it yet, we did embed that into our agenda emails. Right. Yeah. So the question was if they see trash or debris in public, can they go to this website and submit a service request? And the answer is yes. This is supposed to be like a one-stop shop for all city service requests. So potholes and all that kind of other fun stuff. You can go through this portal, or if you want to still call the hotline, I understand that's also available. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So there, it was a question about the trees along the bike trail and what's been happening to them. It could be, that could be a request that's submitted. I think, the project is new, so there may be something happening there. I'm curious if any of our other board members may have something. That would be the city. I don't know, like
Probably
who
Parks and
individually,
Rec,
Public
maybe.
Works? No. Parks and Rec. Okay. Parks and Rec division. Bike trail. Yeah. I think that would still be parks. Yeah, I would think so. Okay. So, yeah, our lovely PIO told us. Here.
I live close by over there, and people it's going to Oja and stuff, and sometimes they break the tires or pop the tire, and they have like no bench to kind of sit and rest in between. And like I'm living over there in Sycamore Village, so over there like it's like they have like you can park your bike, but if you want to like sit down and rest, it's like no like bench at all, like to somewhere to rest in between the harbor and all the way to Ojai.
Yeah, I'm happy to connect you with the folks that worked on that. My understanding is that project is done.
Okay.
The construction is completed,
Yeah.
and it did go through a long outreach period. And I actually had some of the folks here be part of that outreach and community feedback. But I'm happy to connect you with the folks that are in charge of that and have you voice your concern for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a couple of announcements before we get on to the community visioning. So this Friday is First Friday here at Bell Arts. So come on down. Actually, if the camera was panning out on our back wall over here, we have art all from one particular artist that will be on sale. And actually, I don't know if Maribel wants to explain a little bit more about this First Friday.
Okay.
And I'm putting her on the spot. She
So this artwork, I don't know if you guys know about Gavin. He was like the only African American artist. He died 12 years ago. So everything is out, everything you see here is going to be, there's a private collection, and all this is going to be for sale on Friday. 50% of the sales, they'll go for Bella's factory, and 50% of the sales will go for his family in Pittsburgh. So this is probably one of those one in a lifetime opportunities to still buy some of his art.
That, yeah,
Yep,
so definitely.
69. And we tied it out of the box because literally they were taking everything out of the box. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Yeah, but I hope
Yeah,
you
so
guys
come
see
check it out
this.
on Friday and every first Friday. 6 to 9 on Friday, and then there's gonna be poetry on Saturday from 3 to 6. And then, yep, youth soccer was already mentioned. I believe, I don't think the price was said, it was $65 per kid that wants to participate in the youth soccer here at West Park. So go ahead and sign up by Saturday. And yeah, so our main program, sort of an open forum to go over, different ideas that you guys have. I know there's a small group here, so we don't have to take too much time on it. We can do more next month with a larger crowd. But if anyone has any ideas that they want to share in terms of what they want to see here on the West Side and projects and goals that we should do as a community council, the mic is yours.
Well, I want to thank the board for inviting me to the last board meeting, but I thought we had a consensus that we would start all the meetings now by introducing all of ourselves so we could find out who everybody is and why they came to the meeting. So I would love if we could start that. I'll start myself, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm Matt Bello. I've been a member of the Westside Community Council for 8 years. I have a house on West Finch Street, and it's really great to see some new faces here, and I hope you guys keep on coming. West Finch Street. Vince. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I'm Helga Ono, and I live down on Flint Street, where I have my house and garden. And I've been coming here for several years, mostly to get the cookies of Kay. I don't know if I would come if she didn't have the cookies. So.
Name is Natasha. I've been living here at the Prospect Street 20 years ago. Now I moved to the Sycamore Village, a little bit further up there. So I'm like in this area often, and I've been coming to the Bell Arts Factory for past, I don't know, 15 years. I know this community and teachers, and I founded a Zumba class here, supposed to be today. So, and I did found your advertisement for this event to then social media. So that how I didn't know that those things exist to begin with. So that was on the Facebook actually. Whoever posted, thank you so much. It does work.
Credit goes to our communications chair, Helen.
Communication, yeah. So that worked. And also, like, I don't know when is the next meeting. So you guys have this like on the schedule first
Wednesday every month.
First Wednesday of every other month or every month? Oh, it's every month. So Zumba cancel and you guys be here, right? That's how it is. Oh, they know that. Oh, so if it's and then it's because it's pretty much the same week of the every Friday events on the, oh, got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is good. And like whatever you guys have events coming up, I like the idea with the camera on the problem sections over here, since the gangs of things and up or something they said. But yeah, just I'm in the area. That's my mom Nina. She doesn't speak much English, so we're from Ukraine, so we know here.
Oh, welcome.
Hello, my name is Marilyn. I was born in LA. I was raised here in 3 different homes in Ventura County. I graduated 84, Ventura High School. I went to the colleges. I moved away and I came back 2019. So,
Welcome back.
issues. I don't know what housing does because I'm under housing in Section 8 where I am. So about moving on to a bigger space. But I know it must be really hard for those that lost their home. That's going to impact not alone us, but LA County for housing. And I'm surprised that some lots have not been started being built in the last years.
Well, some of the entitled lots, like on the northern part of the avenue, is that?
Up the avenue, there's the 2 plots on Thompson, on Thompson.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
and those streets, yeah.
yeah. I live right next to one of the big lots over at
Yeah.
Fora and Santa Clara. Yeah, that is one. Yeah.
Not alone, some of the factories that left 33 on that side. I don't know why they can't build up in those areas.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
think
sure.
there's a lot more
Yeah, there's
areas that they could build on.
some of it's funding, some of it's general plan, which when we have Pete who serves on the general plan committee, he knows more about that land use development stuff. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Thank you for being here. Anyone on Zoom want to introduce themselves?
I will. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Janine Cobian, and I'm Recreation Supervisor with the City of Ventura Parks and Recreation. And I oversee the Ventura Avenue Adult Center along with the Barranca Vista Community Center in Midtown.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'll say hi. I'm Kathy Bremer. I'm with the College Area Community Council, but I love to sit in on the West Side meetings.
Love having you here, Kathy. I love sitting in on the college area sometimes. Works both ways. It really helps to go to a couple different community councils and understand what's happening in other parts of the city. Just sort of learn what they're doing right over there and also share things that we have going on over here with them. So the community expands for the whole city, I think. Anyone else on Zoom? No? Anyone else in person that didn't introduce themselves, that wants to introduce themselves? No? All right, apologize for that, Matt. That was an omission on my part. I'll make sure we'll get that. Yeah, I think that was really the catalyst that really sort of stopped the momentum and just sort of now trying to bring that back for people to come and interact with each other in person again. So point well taken, Matt. Trying to add that to the idea for community visioning and make sure we do that going forward. Anyone else have anything else big or small that they have ideas for the West Side that we should be doing? Helen?
I like the idea of greening as much as we can on the avenue. I know there is problems because the undergrounded utility lines, there's like concern about them. But I think if we can resurrect planting trees on the avenue to at least provide shade in addition to other things like that, And in addition to the greening, prioritizing the Stanley on-ramp, I feel like when that came up in the land use or the circulation element for the general plan update, the city staff had left it off. And obviously, like, the public and myself and Pete reminded them that that's very important. But I think right now the city is looking at prioritizing California. But I would argue that, like, the Stanley on-ramp is also equally important. So I think we should put a little bit more pressure as a community on our city staff to help Caltrans prioritize that project.
Yeah, there's really one of three off-ramp, on-ramp projects that are going to get prioritized in the next few years. And yeah, it seems like California, we have 33. We also have Johnson has been talked about. So with all the growth happening in these different areas of town, which CIP project is going to get funding and grant funding specifically, I think the city is trying to look for. So showing up, speaking out at city council or speaking out here, and we can take it to city council as a community council. Yeah. And as far as the trees on the bike path, yeah, riding the bike path now, I see a lot of new trees that had just been planted. So it's going to take a couple years to for them to grow and provide shading and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Ron's definitely trying to help work on more greening and gardening and trees, which provide natural shading. So that's something we definitely want to look into. Yeah. Ron?
In the Ventura River design plan that came out, gracious, what was it, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, they had these ideas for pedestrian overcrossing to get from this side of the river to the other side. With the, when Highway 33 was built, our community was redlined that since we were predominantly, brown and poor, they figured, oh, we didn't matter. And so they built the freeway without any access to the river. People used to go down and swim in the river, fish, recreate in all kinds of different ways. So that's been cut off. So as far as projects that would be really great to promote would be to get, one or two pedestrian bridges across the freeway so we can get to the river. The other one is an idea that my wife dreamed up, and that's a tramway that would go from the beach up to Ojai. So it'd be a beautiful view, elevated above the river, so you get a beautiful view of the river valley, and be able to get up to Ojai without driving that curvy, windy road up there. A few years ago, there was a big mudslide, and the mountain came down and washed away the road. So it was a couple of weeks before, actually a couple of months, I think it was, before people could drive up Ventura Avenue, Highway 33, up to Ojai. So if we had a way of getting pedestrians and light cargo, from the beach up to Ojai, it would be really great as far as, tying our communities together, resiliency in case of, problems with this little windy road getting up to Ojai, and be a great tourist attraction. There's a couple of ideas.
Well, this is a nonpartisan organization, and everybody's welcome here, no matter what their political affiliation is. But that said, I do think that we're in a new era where we have to think about our neighborhood and how our neighbors are feeling right now. And I noticed there weren't any parties in the vicinity of my house this weekend when there's always parties. So I'm imagining there's a sense of a certain amount of fear. And I think I had a good conversation with the police just now. They wanted to reemphasize that they are not connected to the federal agents, and I think our community deserves a clear explanation on what their rights are and how our local police force relates to the federal agents we're starting to see in our county. We have issues of domestic violence. We have crime. We want our neighbors to feel like they can still call the police and feel like they're protected. We want our neighbors to know that they could go to the hospital when they might be watching the news in the evening and seeing stories about Florida where you could be reported to the federal government if you go to the hospital. We need a clear we need clear information by responsible people, and I hope that we could connect. Given that we are a well-recognized organization, I hope we could connect with the most responsible entities in Ventura to give the clearest information possible to our neighbors. Because I know if we don't do that, other organizations that are passionate but may not be the most, clear or rational about what the policies are, they're going to give that information to our community, and they may scare our community, or they might. I've heard that they're thinking about doing a ICE defense team in the county where people actually physically want to intervene with ICE agents. They're welcome to do that if they want to do that, but our community deserves to know that there's other options as well. And I hope that we can prioritize making this a venue for that in the near future, and finding a way to make sure that that we continue to connect with our monolingual Spanish speakers as this president continues to ramp up the anxiety across the country and our community.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, it shouldn't be a partisan issue, especially as an organization trying to build a better West Side. It goes hand in hand with simply protecting those that already live here. And I have a couple things here, a stack of these red cards, which if anyone wants to take a stack, it basically just outlines your rights, or if you know someone that's an immigrant, the rights of not having to answer the door based on Fifth Amendment, from not having permission to enter home based on the Fourth Amendment, and choosing to exercise those rights that everyone, citizens and non-citizens alike, have. So there's a stack of these in the back, as well as flyers with one of the organizations that Matt was referencing. 805 and DocuFund is a more, for lack of a better word, legit organization that has been around helping people in this situation. Especially right now, it's first going on in Oxnard, but eventually it will come up here and Santa Paula and areas that they're going to try targeting. And so there's things here, a few different things: rapid response hotline to stay informed. You can also register your phone number, so if there's a sighting of ICE, then you'll know. Basically, I mean, people are already scared and don't want to go out, or if you want to register to volunteer with the Rapid Response Network. So we have flyers on the back if anyone wants to take these as well. But getting the information and educating our community in terms of their rights and what they're able to do and who they're able to seek help from. Yeah, that's basic. Yeah, Matt, do you want to say something else?
I'm saying Marco, thank you for bringing that stuff, but we're about 12 people here right now, and with all due respect, I think it should be something that should be promoted, and we try to bring people so they know that they could get reliable information from whoever that happens to be, right? But that it's coming from somebody that's a reliable source, and not just a college activist or somebody who's been doing street activism for a couple decades. We want to make sure they're getting the most accurate information, and this is a reliable venue that they could depend on, and we could promote it. That's my suggestion for the group.
Yeah, so I tried reaching out to some people, especially trying to get people out tonight as a little last minute and scrambling and stuff like that. So at a future meeting, maybe even a special meeting, it may not have to be the first Wednesday, how soon we can get someone to come and speak that is reputable, and advertise that to the community that they can come out here and gather. or at the end, at the very, and also it's a multifaceted approach. It's getting people out here to understand that, but also getting, I mean, more than just this stack of like 50 to 100 cards, but going door to door and handing out all these flyers on like maybe a half sheet of paper, and just if people like get it at their door, they get the same information they can look up online too. But there's a way, I mean, yeah, like you said, there's only a handful of us here today, but we need to work together, create the volunteer force to expand and spread that information out. And how we do that, there's several ways to do that. So we'll work on that for sure. Appreciate the feedback on that. If anyone's interested in volunteering in that regard, please let me know. Okay. Anything else in terms of ideas for the community? Short term, long term? No, if not, I'm going to go ahead and pass it along to Ron for our presentation tonight on a potential idea that we can do here in the short term.
So this is my contribution to ideas of some of the projects that I think would be very interesting to do, and make the West Side a better place. So, next slide. What ties us together as a community with nature, with you know, the land? It's food. And so, if what are some of the different ways that we can look at developing local food? When you go into the grocery store, there's an awful lot of products that travel about 1,500 miles before they get to the grocery store. You pick them up and then you drive home with them another couple of miles maybe. And so having food in our community gives us a resiliency. So no matter what happens with the distribution network, with the price of fuel or whatever, we have something, you know, literally or figuratively in our backyard. So we can plant gardens in our yards, in our neighbors' yards. We can organize community gardens if we have no land. You could go to a community garden in the neighborhood. There's several of them in our community here. And you can set up food chairs where if you have a tree that has way too much lemons or plums or whatever, more than you can eat, you can bring them to a certain site and share them with other people. There's a 805 crop swap that has been meeting at, I think it's Grace Church over there where Santa Clara meets Main Street. And once a month they would come together for Saturday, and everybody would just bring their produce or extra gardening materials, set it out on tables, and then whatever you wanted, you could take home. And whatever was left over, then they would contribute to a food bank. Seeds. Seeds are important to have something to start with, have something very special. If you think about it, a lot of our garden seeds represent 10,000 years of gardeners very carefully selecting the best varieties, the best qualities of that tomato, that pepper, that eggplant, whatever. And so sharing this wonderful bounty, you know, of seeds that have been in our family for generations is really important. Then for a lot of us, we're disconnected from farmers that were farming the land. And so having garden mentors helping us to guide us into how to set up a garden and what to harvest. And, oh, that's a weed, get rid of that. And this is delicious. Here, I'll show you how to fix it. How to prepare a yummy dish out of it. And then time banks. some of us have a lot of time and very little money, and so we can contribute our time to a time bank and have share basically work hours with other people. There's CSAs, excuse me, community supported agriculture. It's like a subscription veggie service. There's a number of farms around, like McGrath Farm over on Central Avenue in Camarillo, that grows lots and lots of different kinds of vegetables and then puts it in boxes, and you can sign up to get a custom box of produce every week. Then there's buying clubs and food co-ops. We can support our local farmers to grow what we want, and so they get a good price for it. We can develop a food hub. There's some interesting movements along that line and some money to support people starting those. Then there's the transition town process, and can go into more that later. And then buy local. Imagine a neighborhood where everyone has a garden, a few fruit trees, and a couple of chickens or rabbits. Next slide. Abundant, fresh, wholesome food, shared, traded, and sold. Kids are proud of the kale that they grew and eagerly eat it. You hear songbird choruses, but no lawnmowers or leaf blowers. Neighbors relate to how their health is much better since they're not eating processed food. There's a vibrance and vitality with many underemployed folks now earning money putting in gardens in other people's yards. Next slide. So a while back, about 15 years ago, there was a fellow, Devin Slavin, that had these parties, the Grow Food Work Party, and they would get together and put in a garden in one person's yard. And so in one day they would bring compost and mulch and plants and then install a garden in that person's yard. And then everybody would take turns installing a garden in other people's yards. So there's this fun video of that process that you can get to through that QR code. Next slide. In physics, scientists talk about the unified field theory that will unite everything together. In ag, we're developing a food theory of everything. How we feed ourselves intimately touches every aspect of society. When we understand and honor that, ag will flourish. What can we be sure of? We can count on the food growing literally at our feet in our yard, in our neighborhood. We can grow a food system that is healthy, ecologically sustainable, and fair for all. We can build a community that supports us all. As gardeners, we know that if we put a seed in the ground, give it conditions to grow, we get an abundance of produce. We can build a community based on this abundance and develop an economy of gift, as Alan Chadwick put it. With cutbacks, recessions, layoff, and deficit, it's time to speak of plentitude and too much zucchini. Next. So what are some of the resources? Our esteemed Vice Chair Eric put up this website to promote gardening and gardening activities in our community. So you can go on Facebook and be a friend of Ventura Growing Circles and get posts about how to grow vegetables, the gardening activities, and and events that are happening in our neighborhood. One of them coming up again this September is the Heirloom Expo, a celebration of heirloom seeds and gardening and local food. So we will be building towards this wonderful celebration in the fall, and everybody's welcome to join us. Next. And then for those of you who like chickens, and who doesn't, they're very, very affectionate. There's the Kentucky Chicken Facebook page, and they share information on how to care for your chickens, where to find them, what's the best breeds or whatever. What do you share on that? Chickeneering tips. There you go. Okay, next. Then community gardens. How do you find out where you can garden if you have literally no land? If you're in an apartment and just have a little place where you might be able to put a pot on your balcony or something, but it doesn't grow much. Here's a website that has links to the gardening resources in the neighborhood. And then I think there's 2 or 3 other websites that list the community gardens. Next. And Gerardo Gallegos had this wonderful project, Restore Ventura, and the Kids Garden Brigade, or KGB for short, that engage kids in how to grow food. That the guerrilla gardener Ron Finley said, kids will eat kale if they grow it. And so it's a great way to improve, nutrition for kids, teaching them how to grow wonderful vegetables, and then they'll be happy to eat them. So here's these are my humble suggestions about what we can do as a community to increase our local food supply, the quality of it, availability, and to be able to ensure that whatever's happening in the greater world, our community will have something to eat and something to share. One of the most wonderful things about having a garden and growing too much food is that you get to share it. And so we can develop this economy of sharing in abundance. Thank you. Any questions or anybody have any seeds to share?
I have a question. I love the garden party crew. I'm wondering, because we have had some people pop into Revite who want to do something in their neighborhoods. Should we just start doing that and pick a pilot project to kick it off?
Yes. So what do we need to do? That we just need to get organized. And there's a number of companies in the neighborhood that, like Green Thumb, probably be happy to contribute some plants. Peach Hill Soils be happy to contribute some compost, which is wonderful to build life in the soil so you can grow healthy vegetables. And then we just need some people to step forward who would love to have a garden in their yard. And then we just organize everybody to show up and put in the garden. And then we need an abuelita, an experienced gardener, to foster that new garden and make sure that the people are able to care for it and continue to grow wonderful food in it. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Trying to get property to do a little boy's farm. Well, things and that. But before having a garden, you got to know how to water it. Not alone, prep the soil. Then, I've done water lines to conserve water. Then I ended up having rabbits and learning that certain animals that you can take care of pets, but can use their manure in your gardens. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. And there's a number of trees whose leaves you can use to feed rabbits and to some extent, chickens and so on. And then in the city, there's these ducks, the Muscovy ducks, that don't quack. and so they have the potential for flying under the radar, of animals that you can have in your yard without the neighbors complaining. There's ordinances about having poultry in the city, and usually it's just a certain number of hens, the female chickens that don't cuckle-doodle-doo. Oh, wow. Mm. Right, right. And then there's the covenants with the HOAs that are pretty onerous as far as what you can do with your yard. Yeah. But rabbits are quiet also, so they can fly under the radar as far as animals in your yard. So, okay. Thank you much. Any other questions? I'm around.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah, so I think our next revite meeting is going to be the fourth Wednesday of this month. So that'll be the 26th. And then, yeah, anyone have any other comments? We have our open comment period now. Any other last minute comments? Oh, we're going to wrap up a bit early. Welcome you guys to stick around a little bit longer, mingle, plenty of food still in the back. But thank you all for coming. Our next meeting is the first Wednesday in March. See you guys then. Meeting adjourned. Yes.
Think you like this clothing swap going on? I wanna put clothes together. Do you guys have it on the schedule?
I think that's the really, really free market. Okay. Second Saturday. Is that usually okay? Really, really free market. Another group organizes that. They're at Kellogg Park. I can pull the information on my laptop after
Because
the
I don't
meeting.
know. I never they doing that.
Okay.
They have those on odds.
Yeah. I want to say it's like a reoccurring. I think it runs when we do our second Saturday neighborhood cleanups for the most part, but I'll confirm it. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Quarterly?
they
Okay.
don't do it often, no.
Okay. Yeah, we'll double check.
Okay, thank you.
And then is Helen, do you know if there's a second Saturday cleanup happening next weekend?
I have not been made aware of that yet, but I will be reporting for duty myself and will clean up if others show up.
Yeah. I know we took a little holiday break but yeah, we update on all those dates and stuff. So please sign in to get our newsletter to be reminded of meetings and other events happening in the community. Once again, thank you guys for being here and see you next month.